Good morning, watch nerds. Once again, please allow me to apologise for the ugly splint on the finger of my right hand. As a matter of interest, I did this whilst bungee jumping in the Outer Hebrides. A little under a year ago, I sold a Nodus retrospect dive watch. It was a beautiful watch, and the overall finish and quality was fantastic. The only reason I sold it was because I felt it wore a little bit large on my puny wrist. Recently, I had a slot in my watch box for either a dress type watch or a field watch, and this one popped up on eBay. I felt it was a little bit expensive for a watch with the movement that's inside it, but after a few weeks negotiating with the seller, we agreed a deal. Funnily enough, he thought I got a great deal, and I thought he got one. When it arrived, I realised he was right. Nodus are based in California, and the watches are also constructed and regulated there. I suspect most of the parts are actually sourced from China, but what isn't? So welcome to my unpaid and unsponsored review of the Nodus Sector Field Watch. Let's have a look at the dimensions, but according to my calipers, the case measures 37.8mm, the lug width is 20mm, the depth is 12.2mm, and the lug to lug is 47mm. Once adjusted to my 17cm wrist, the watch weighs in at 139 grams. These measurements vary slightly to the manufacturer's stated figures, but that's what I make them anyway. In my opinion, the watch wears a little bit larger than our dimensions indicate, and that's maybe down to the relatively long lug to lug. And there's the Nodus packaging. It's quite a nice quality cardboard box. In the top drawer came the watch, and in the bottom drawer came the instructions. This is my watch of the day. It's the Mitch Mason Chronicle. It's only 36mm, but it's cleverly designed to look larger. The crown is large for the size of the watch, and it measures 7.5mm. It's signed, it screws down, is very well nailed, and as it is the correct movement for the no date watch, it doesn't have a ghost position. Now the engagement is superb, and it matches that of my 3 Christopher Ward watches, and that really is saying something. The stated water resistance is 100 metres, which I consider to be conservative, but at the same time more than adequate. The movement is the Seiko NH38, which is a no-date version of the NH35. What's nice is that all the Nodus watches are regulated in-house, which is something I would like to see more manufacturers do. It's a 3 Hz movement that ticks away at 21,600 beats per hour, hacks and hand winds, and it's got a 41-hour power reserve. These movements are extremely reliable, inexpensive, but can be quite accurate if regulated correctly. Now let's see what this one's doing on the time grapher. What a great set of figures. Beat error of 0.1, a good amplitude, it reads plus 5 seconds a day, and I know from experience that's going to be more or less spot on. The case has a slightly boxed flat sapphire crystal with some AR coating applied to the underside. Now the only polishing on the case is the bezel and the top and bottom transition of the sides of the case. The rest of the case, as well as the bracelet, appears to be a cross between fine brushing and sandblasting. It's extremely well executed and strangely enough marries up with the polishing very well. Now although the lugs are quite long for the size of the case, they slope down very well and they're drilled for easy strap changes. Now the case back has a matte finish and it's engraved with 4 hoops, and there's some basic information engraved around the sides. Needless to say, it screws down to help the watch's water resistance. Overall, this case is absolutely fantastic, and I'm not exaggerating either. For a field watch, this dial is both very attractive and quite complex. The minute track is on the rehaut, and at the 12, 3, 6 and 9 the markers are light blue to match the second hand. The next layer in is a blue-grey fume and encompasses the painted indices. The centre part of the dial is dark blue and has got 24-hour markers, which I suppose sort of makes it the field watch it is. I would describe the hands as being a pencil style, and are filled with BGW9 to match the lume indices. For a field watch, the lume is excellent, and it can keep up with most of my dive watches. Let's have a look at this lume. Yippee, it's got an H-link bracelet. I love this style of bracelet because it's both robust and ornate, and at the same time it's very comfortable. It's extremely well constructed and in my opinion would hold its own when compared with watches costing many times more. Now the end links have got quick release spring bars and they fit perfectly to the case. The links are attached using screw pins, which are extremely well engineered as well. Now the clasp is one of my favourites. It's signed and like the case is a combination of matte and polished surfaces. There are 2 pushers, 3 micro adjusts and it's fully milled. This bracelet and clasp in my opinion is pretty faultless to be honest. So let's talk about price and value for money. In the USA these watches are $425. If purchased from WatchGecko in the UK you pay £425. That means we pay about 25% more over here. Now, that's not unusual, is it? Even though the watch doesn't have a particularly expensive movement, considering the rest of the specification and finish, I consider it represents good value. Only until you handle this watch you can appreciate that. For what it's worth, I bought a mint used one for £300. The manufacturer's QC checks are renowned for being quite strict, so it was of no surprise I found no issues with this watch. So do I have any complaints? Well, nothing in life is perfect, is it? Some people may have moaned it doesn't have a better movement, but at present this is running at +2 seconds a day when it's on the wrist, so what's better than that? My biggest moan is the lug to lug. The case size is perfect for my wrist, but making the lugs as long as they are means it probably won't fit wrists any smaller. Maybe 44 would have been better than the 47mm it is. The only other thing worth mentioning is the engraving on the case back is quite shallow and over time that may wear. With regards to the likes, well where do I start? The dial is stunning, the lume impressive, the case is beautiful, the crown's superb and that bracelet and clasp are really top notch. In summary, I'm guessing that by now you've realised I like this watch. I've had 2 watches arrive at my door this week that have absolutely knocked me off my feet and this is one of them. I now own 5 field watches and if I were forced to keep only one, this may be it. Don't hang around if you're considering a Nodus sector field watch, just go out and buy one. Oh, and incidentally, I don't work for Nodus. Now that brings me to the end of this review. If you've enjoyed it, click on the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, leave your comments below and most importantly, enjoy the rest of your day.